Have you ever just stopped and wondered how China built an entire futuristic world in what feels like the blink of an eye? It's not just about one leader or one single policy. Nope, it's a machine, a really complex system with a ton of moving parts. So today, let's pop the hood and see exactly how this machine really works.
I mean, just look at this. On the left, that's Shanghai back in 1993. Now look at the right. That's the same city, not even 20 years later. It takes Western cities centuries to transform like this. China did it in the time it takes for a kid to grow up. It's an absolutely incredible leap into the future.
And if you want to get a sense of the sheer speed we're talking about, get this, a 57-story skyscraper. How long do you think it took to build? A couple of years? Nope. Try 19 days. 19. That's not just construction. That's a massive statement about the power of the system behind it all.
So this brings us right to our core question. It's easy to see the shiny results, right? But what's actually under the hood? What are the gears, the circuits, the code that makes this whole machine run at such a mind-blowing speed? Well, let's break it down piece by piece.
To really understand the present, we have to look way back into the past. See, the first piece of this puzzle isn't concrete or steel. It's what you might call the cultural software, a really deep-seated philosophy about the nature of power and responsibility itself.
At the very heart of this software is this ancient concept called the mandate of heaven. For thousands of years, the idea was pretty simple. The heavens grant you the right to rule, sure, but it's not a blank check. Think of it more like a performance-based contract. And here's basically how that contract works. The ruler's #1 job is to deliver results. Good harvests, stability, prosperity for the people. If they succeed, the heavens grant them legitimacy, and they get to keep the mandate to rule. But if they fail, well, that mandate is lost. It is fundamentally all about results.
Okay, so let's fast forward to today. There's no emperor, obviously, but that ancient contract, it still echoes. The modern, unspoken agreement is that the government's main job is to deliver economic growth and improve people's lives. In return for that, the public provides legitimacy. The mandate of heaven has basically evolved into a mandate to deliver.
So if the mandate to deliver is the cultural software, what's the operating system that runs it? Well, it's a political structure that is designed for one thing above all else: long-term, unwavering consistency.
Just think about the Great Wall for a second. This wasn't a 10-year project. This was a 2,000-year project, built across more than 20 different dynasties. That kind of long-term thinking is just baked into the national DNA.
And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? Enemies changed, cultures changed, but the wall never stopped. Imagine starting a project so enormous that you know for a fact that your great-great-great-grandchildren will be the ones to finish it. That's the mindset. The vision is singular, and it just keeps going no matter what changes.
This consistency creates a really unique advantage. In China's model, a plan isn't just for an election cycle. It's a multi-decade commitment. Now contrast that with other models you might see, for instance, in parts of South Asia, where a new government can mean a whole new slogan and a bunch of stalled projects. The plans might look great on paper, but the execution is inconsistent. In China, consistency is the superpower.
Okay, so we have the cultural software and the political operating system. Now let's look at the engine itself, the whole nation system. This is where every single part of the machine aligns to move in one coordinated direction.
Think of it like an innovation pipeline, and it's incredibly streamlined. It all starts at the top. The state identifies key strategic priorities for the next few decades. We're talking AI, biotechnology, semiconductors. Then, universities create labs and programs to research those exact fields and train up the talent. And finally, industry is ready and waiting to absorb those graduates and immediately scale up production. It's a straight line from idea to factory floor.
Now, this is a huge difference from a model like, say, Silicon Valley. Over there, venture capital is king. But here, policy makes the product. The state doesn't just sit back and hope for innovation, it actively engineers it. Government-guided funds will step in to de-risk the most challenging and expensive high-tech ventures. It's like telling an entrepreneur, hey, don't worry about the funding, we've got that covered. You just focus on building the future.
So we've seen the software, the OS, and the engine's design. Now let's look at the industrial hardware on the ground. The actual factories, the infrastructure, and the strategies that turn all those ambitious plans into reality. One of their most brilliant strategies is something called the catfish effect. And yeah, it's pretty much what it sounds like. The idea is you drop a big, aggressive predator, a catfish, into a tank of kind of complacent fish. And what happens? They all start swimming a whole lot faster.
China did exactly this with the electric vehicle market when they invited Tesla to build a massive factory in Shanghai.
And just look at the result. It worked like a charm. Before Tesla, the EV market was mostly dominated by foreign brands. But after Tesla arrived, local companies were forced to compete, to innovate, to get better. And they did. Domestic brands like BYD didn't just catch up. In some cases, they actually surpassed their foreign competition. The Catfish did its job perfectly.
And what connects this whole massive industrial machine? World-class infrastructure. China built a national high-speed rail network in the time it takes some countries to even approve a single train line. A journey that took 44 hours back in the 1930s now takes just over 4. It's insane. This network seamlessly connects factories to cities to ports with incredible efficiency. And it really highlights a core principle. Just prioritize getting the engine running to boost GDP first, and then worry about profitability later.
So, after looking at all these different pieces, what's the single most important takeaway here? Well, it's this. To understand the hardware, you absolutely have to understand the software first.
This view from the Bund in Shanghai is the perfect metaphor for everything we've talked about. On one side of the river, you have the past, the beautiful, historic buildings representing China's deep cultural roots. And then, right across the water, you have Pudong, a futuristic skyline that basically didn't exist 30 years ago, representing a meticulously planned future. The two aren't separate. They are deeply, deeply connected.
And that's really the secret, isn't it? The miracle isn't just the skyscrapers or the bullet trains. It's the fusion of that ancient cultural software, that mandate to deliver, that long-term thinking, with the immense industrial hardware of its factories, its universities, and its infrastructure. You simply cannot have one without the other. Which leaves us with one last really fascinating question to chew on. The hardware, the factories, the capital, that's really hard for other nations to replicate. But what about the software? Is it possible for other countries to install this program of long-term thinking and consistency, even if their entire system is completely different? Now that's something to think about.